Story time about my toxic sister. My sister and I don't have the same dad, and we didn't grow up together either. I was raised by my grandmother, and she was raised by my birth mother. And I call her my birth mother because she's never been there for me, and we really don't get along. So at first my sister and I got along, but then she changed. And I just want to say before anything, my sister's white, and I'm obviously not. And she would always bring that up. She would always tell me how she was better than me because she was white and she had better hair than me. And I just thought that she would say that because we were kids, you know? But then every time I told her I liked a guy, she would tell me she was talking to that same guy. But if I wanted him, she would stop talking to him. Like for part 2. Part 2 about my toxic sister. So basically, she would always say that the guy was interested in her. And she would always compete with me. Like if I bought a cute shirt, she would have to buy that same shirt and would tell me it looked better on her. Or if I got some new sneakers, she would ask me to wear them before I even did. So I suffered a lot when I was a teen just because of her. So a couple years ago, I started to gain confidence. So I decided to big chop my hair because I wanted to grow my natural curls. 2 months after that, she did the same thing and cut her hair the same way I did. But I always loved makeup, and she would make fun of me because of it. She would always say that she didn't need any makeup, and she was naturally pretty. But when I started to get good at makeup, like for part 3. So when I started getting good at makeup, all of a sudden, she also wanted to do makeup. And everyone can love makeup, but when you constantly make fun of someone because they love makeup, and then you start loving makeup, don't tell me it doesn't piss you off. But anyways, what really got me mad was that this summer, she came to visit, and I let her stay at my house. And I got this new neon bathing suit and took some pictures with it. And she wanted to wear that same bathing suit and take the same pictures I took. So I had to ask why she always wanted to do everything like me. And she denied it and got really defensive. Long story short, after I confronted her, I just told her that we shouldn't talk anymore. And my life has never been better. Story time about my toxic family. So, little backstory. I grew up with my grandmother since I was 3. I never lived with my mom. She literally sent me away 3 months after she had me. Also, she was like 8 months pregnant with me when she met my sister's dad, her current husband. And I don't know, my grandmother says she sent me away because she just couldn't keep me because she was with him. And I don't really ask about it. I don't care. I'm actually grateful that I grew up with my grandmother and not my mom because she's just not a good person. So when I was about 12 years old, my grandmother had to send me back to Dominican Republic. She was getting really old and she just couldn't keep up with me. So I moved back to Dominican Republic, and at first I lived with my uncle. Like for part 2. Part 2 about my toxic family. So at first I lived with my uncle. Then like a year after that, my mom wanted me to move in with her. And I did. But she didn't have space. She had a 3-bedroom. One of the bedrooms my 2 sisters slept in, and the other one was taken by someone else. A family member. And obviously the third one was my mom and her husband's bedroom. And at first I got along with my sisters, but then we would fight, and I honestly don't remember why we would fight. But I slept with one of them, and anytime one of them was mad at me, I had to sleep with the other one. And the toxic one would always try to turn the other one against me, and many times I had to sleep on the couch because neither of them wanted me to sleep with them. And my mom ended up getting the 3rd bedroom. The family member moved out.
When we lifetime is hurt, your skin is soft.
3. So I finally had my own bedroom and didn't have to constantly be humiliated because I didn't have a bed to sleep in. And that's when everything started. So anytime my mom and her husband would go out grocery shopping or shopping in general, I would never go. They would always say that I was busy or that I was sleeping and they didn't want to wake me up. But they would take my 2 sisters and they would buy things for them and never bought anything for me. My grandmother literally had to send me money just so I could buy toothpaste, soap, deodorant, because my mom would not buy that for me. And I couldn't use the same soap they did. But whatever, we're not going to relive that anymore. After that, I started growing up, and my mom said that I had to learn to do house chores. So I did. Like and follow for part 4. Storytime about my toxic family, part 4. So I started to learn how to do chores, but I was the only one. My sisters would never do anything, and my mom never asked them to. I was the only one. So I did start seeing a little privilege there. One day we were all hanging out, and I accidentally stepped on my sister, the younger one, and she started crying. And my mom's husband got so mad and started saying that I stepped on her because she was prettier than me. Which doesn't make sense, but okay. And I was black. And my mom got really mad. And I thought she was mad because he was talking to me that way. But she got mad because I stepped on my sister. And she started saying the same things to me. How I was ugly because I was black. And criticized everything about me. Even my nose. Part 5. I feel like maybe I should do a live, but you guys want a story time, so here you go. So yeah, my mom started telling me that I was black and that I had really bad hair and that I was jealous of my sisters because they had nice hair and that they were white. And honestly, that broke my heart coming from the person that gave birth to you. And that's why on the video of my toxic sister, I call her my birth mother because she only gave birth to me, but she was never there for me. Physically, emotionally, never there for me. So around when I was 16, they started destroying my stuff. Like I could not leave my house because every time I got back, something in my room was either missing or destroyed. I swear this is like a Cinderella story. Like I can make a book or a movie. Part 6. And I just wanted to say that I actually have receipts of all of this. And when I say receipts, like I have people that can testify about all of this. So I literally lived in hell when I was living at my mom's house. Like the racism was so big that I would literally get criticized about everything. If I would sweat, my mom would say that black people sweat like that and that it stinks so bad. Guys, I cried every single day of my life for 8 years. Like when I was 13, my grandmother got me this really nice red shirt and my mom gave it to my sister because she said black people couldn't wear certain colors and red was one of them. Like I could not wear certain colors because they would criticize me. I couldn't wear anything yellow, I couldn't wear anything red, couldn't wear anything orange because I was black. Storytime part 7. Because I was black and black people can't wear those colors. Like it was living hell. And I laugh today because I thought I would never ever get out of that situation, but I did. My mom's husband constantly would tell me how I wasn't going to be anyone in life and that I was a bad influence for his daughters. And every time he was in front of me, he would talk about how beautiful his daughters were and how they had really nice hair, really straight, nice hair, and literally throwing in my face that his daughters were white and I wasn't. So honestly, I can't say it's my toxic sister's fault that she's racist like that, because racism is taught. You're not born being racist. Storytime about my toxic family, part 8. So long story short, when I was 16, I moved out. I could not take it anymore. And when I turned 17, I was an alcoholic for a whole year. DR doesn't have a legal age to drink. So that's why I started drinking when I was 17. And I would drink every single day. But I finished high school. I didn't go to college because I didn't have enough money to pay for college. But I started working, and I also struggled then because there were days that I would not eat because I didn't have enough money to buy food. I needed to save the money to pay rent, also have enough money to get to work and to get back home. So around 2017, like and follow for part 9, story time about my toxic family. So around 2017, my grandmother had a stroke, and they found her 3 days after her stroke. And I'm so grateful and so thankful that she's still here with us. We still don't know how she survived that. So I decided to move back here, and I took care of her for a few months until my mom decided to take her back to Dominican Republic. And I've been here ever since. In 2018, I met my husband, and we got married last year, and we're really happy. We have 2 little puppies, and I could not be any happier. Also, long story short, both of my sisters have kids, no baby daddy, still living at my mom's house. My mom is still paying for everything for them. They dropped out of school. Part 10. They dropped out of school, and honestly, they don't do anything right now. And no, I'm not judging them. I just wanted to let you guys know where we are all at right now. And I currently only communicate with my younger sister. And it's only because my grandmother is in Dominican Republic. And I have no other way to talk to her other than through FaceTime. And I would have to FaceTime my sister. But I don't talk to my toxic sister. I do not talk with my toxic mother. And I don't talk with my toxic stepdad. Also, I don't know my biological father, but my grandmother is my mother, my father, my sister, my best friend. And I wouldn't have all these opportunities right now if it wasn't for her. And I'm grateful for that.
What you